Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and today I have a trial for you, or the beginning of a trial for you, and this is in Judge Wolf's court. It started today, and I don't want to talk too much about what exactly it is because I'll let you guys see that. There's some terms that I don't want to use, especially in the intro, but basically it's See with a daycare worker who happens to be the sheriff's daughter. So I don't think they really discussed that, but just doing a little bit of research, I found that out. What else? Judge Wolf at the beginning of the trial took about 20 minutes and just kind of described the flow of the trial. You know, that the prosecution goes first and they put on their case, and then after that is the defense, and they try to disprove some of those things and try to prove or show that their client is not guilty. Anyway, I cut a lot of that description out. I did leave in one little section about juror questions, because where I live, juror questions are unheard of. Jurors don't ask questions where I live. In any court I've ever been in any jury I've ever been on, jurors don't ask questions. It's interesting that Tennessee does that. I wish that all states would do that, but they don't. Just Tennessee, or I don't know if other states do, but Tennessee definitely does. And so I left that in because it's a little description about how they ask questions and stuff like that. And I'm going to try to monetize it, although with the subject matter, I doubt that it will be monetizable. But I'm going to try with this first one, and if that goes through, I'll continue and try with the rest. If not, then I'll just basically post the video so you guys can just watch. And I'm going to pretty much do that anyway. I'm going to stay out of it and just discuss at the end. So I will let you guys watch from here on out, and I'll talk to you at the end of each day anyway. So I'll let you guys watch.
All right, we're ready to bring the jury in and charge the jury. All right, bring the jury in, please. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the initial charge of the court. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the defendant, Sarah Jo Fuson, is charged in count 1 in the indictment with the crime of aggravated. In count 2, the defendant is charged with. The defendant pleads not guilty to each and every offense embraced in the indictment. Before we begin the trial, I would like to tell you a little bit about what will happen during the course of the proceedings. I want to basically describe how the trial will be conducted and what the attorneys, jurors, and the judge will be doing over the course of the trial. At the end of the trial, I will give you more detailed instructions on how you're to go about reaching your decision. But now I simply want to explain to you how the trial will proceed. In addition, members of the jury may ask questions of the witness if desired. The procedure for a juror to ask a question of the witness is that the question must be written down and submitted to me. Do not put your name on the question, as the questions of the jury are required to be anonymous. If a juror has a question that he or she would like to have asked of a witness, that question must be submitted in writing while the witness remains on the witness stand. At the end of the witness's testimony, the jury will be excused and I will consider the questions of the jury on the record. Then the jury will return to the courtroom. If the question is allowed by the rules of evidence, the question will be asked either by me or by one of the lawyers. You should not place any significance upon the fact that I asked the question of the witness or whether one of the lawyers asked the question. In either event, the question is being asked of the witness solely because it was desired by a juror. The wording of the question may be altered by me, or the question may not be asked at all. If the question is altered by me, you must assume that I had a valid legal reason for altering it, and you should place no significance upon this fact, nor should you draw any inference from it. I may refuse to ask the question at all. In that case, you likewise should place no significance upon this fact, nor should you draw any inference from it. Many times our rules of evidence do not allow certain questions to be asked, even if both sides desire to do so. After the trial, if you wish to know the answer to your question or the reason that it could not be asked, please ask after court is adjourned and I will attempt to explain it to you. This completes my opening comments to you. The next phase of the trial is the formal reading to you of the indictments in this case. Thank you.
Members of the jury, the indictment in this case reads as follows. True bill. In the Circuit Court for Montgomery County, Tennessee, 19th Judicial District, pardon me, State of Tennessee, County of Montgomery, April 2023. The grand jurors for the State of Tennessee, duly elected and panel sworn and charged to inquire in and for the body of the County of Montgomery in the state aforesaid upon their oath present, count one, that on or about the 9th day of January 2023, and in the state and county aforesaid, Sarah Jo Fuson unlawfully, intentionally, or knowingly, and other than by accidental means, did treat O.H., a child 8 years of age or less, in such a manner as to inflict serious bodily injury to said child, in violation of TCA 39-15-402, and against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. Count two. And the grand jurors aforesaid upon their oath aforesaid do further present and say that on or about the 9th day of January 2023, and in the state and county aforesaid, Sarah Jo Fuson unlawfully, intentionally, or knowingly, and other than by accidental means, did treat O.H., a child 8 years of age or less, in such a manner as to inflict injury to said child in violation of TCA 39-15-401 and against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee, signed by Glenn R. Funk, District Attorney General.
To that indictment, how does the defendant plead?
Defendant Sarah Fuson, not guilty.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the defendant has pled not guilty to both counts of the indictment. The next step would be the opening statements of the attorneys. And as I indicated to you again, the state has the right to go first, followed by the defendant. Let me ask this question, counsel. Is the rule requested? Rule has been requested, which means it's an evidentiary matter, but anyone who's going to be a witness other than the parties that are involved in this case or the designated law enforcement officer must go outside of the courtroom and remain outside of the courtroom until they are called to testify. You're not to discuss the testimony of any other witness with anyone pending your own testimony. Counsel, approach the bench as well, please. He's under the rule until tomorrow morning, so let him know he's under the rule and he's not to watch any proceedings on live stream. Now, Mr. Holder, I'm sorry for the delay. You may have addressed the jury. So.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, this case is about a betrayal. It's about a betrayal of trust by the defendant, Ms. Sarah Fuson. She betrayed the trust of her employer, Tylertown Learning Center in Clarksville, Tennessee. And she betrayed the trust of Mr. and Mrs. Hyde, the parents of Olivia. And most importantly, she betrayed the trust of a one-year-old child, Miss Olivia Hyde. On January 9th, 2023, it was Olivia's first day in the new one-year-old classroom. First day. Macy Hyde did what every parent must do at some point. They trusted someone else to care for their child while they went to work. They trusted Miss Sarah Fuson. That evening, when they brought Olivia home, that trust had already been broken. They would come to learn over the course of the next 7 to 10 days that Olivia had not only suffered bruising on her arms, but she suffered a skull fracture at the hands of the defendant, Ms. Sarah Fuson. And let me be clear, this was no accident. What happened that day and how it came to light will be very clear from the evidence you're going to see and hear. Now let's talk about the proof we're going to present to you over the course of the next couple days. You'll hear from Mrs. Macy Hyde, the mother of Olivia. You'll hear how she dropped her off at Tylertown that morning, unharmed. She'll tell you how when she got home with Olivia later that evening, she discovered the bruising on her arms. You'll see the photographs of these bruises. At that point, she asked her husband, Thomas, if he knew how Olivia had obtained these bruises. He didn't know. So Mrs. Hyde goes back to Tylertown Learning Center the next day, January 10th, and asks the manager there, Miss Sabrina Carter, if she was aware of how Olivia had gotten these bruises. Miss Carter told her she didn't know, but they had video cameras, and she was going to go review that footage, find out if they could figure out how she got the bruises. You'll hear from Miss Sabrina Carter. She'll tell you what she saw in that video. You're going to see that video. And what you'll see is Miss Sarah Fuson handle Olivia Hyde in a way that nobody should ever handle any child, let alone a 1-year-old baby. You'll see 2 separate incidents on that video. There's one while Olivia's in a high chair, and then there's another while she's being put down for a nap on a nap cot. In both of these incidents, you'll see Miss Fuson handle her roughly, and on the nap cot, you'll see Olivia's head strike the cot, the edge of the cot, maybe the floor multiple times, 7 to 8 times. Ms. Carter will tell you what she did after she viewed this video and how ultimately Department of Children's Services and the Clarksville Police Department became involved. Now you'll hear from Department of Children's Services, Mr. Caleb Sherman. He was assigned to investigate this case on behalf of the Department of Children's Services. You'll hear from him what he did, how they conduct their investigations. You also hear from Detective Alan Pendarvis, Clarksville Police Department, who began the criminal investigation into this case. He'll tell you what he did and why ultimately he referred the case to TBI Special Agent Jonathan McGowan. You'll also hear from Special Agent McGowan. He'll walk you through his detailed investigation, what he did, what he collected, who he spoke to. And you're also going to hear from Dr. Karen Lakin. She's the head of the Vanderbilt Care Team, child abuse specialist. She specializes in pediatric child abuse cases. She's going to tell you that after she reviewed the video and the photos and the medical records of Olivia, she concluded that Olivia's bruises and the skull fracture were the result of non-accidental trauma inflicted by the way Ms. Sarah Fuson handled her in the classroom that day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, by the time you've seen and heard all the evidence in this case, it's going to be very clear as to what happened. Ms. Fuson was trusted to care for a 1-year-old child, and instead she hurt her. She broke the most basic rule of caregiving: to protect, not to harm. At the end of this case, the state will ask you to hold her accountable for her actions in that betrayal of trust and return the only verdict that justice and the evidence require: guilty. Thank you.
Mr. Trines?
I apologize that my voice is so grating this afternoon, and if you'd bear with me, I'd really appreciate it. In July of 2022, when COVID was still with us, Sarah Fuson, then a 22-year-old woman with an associate's degree from Austin Peay State University, answered an Indeed advertisement for the Tylertown Learning Center in Clarksville. With little formal experience and even less training, Sarah was hired as an assistant teacher in the 1-year-old toddler room at Tylertown and was paid $10.50 an hour for her 40-hour work week. Some might say she got all the responsibility and very little of the money. Since it was COVID, her training was done remotely, exclusively online, and she earned electronic certificates as she completed the required courses alone. Her role as assistant teacher was short-lived, since the teacher that was training her quit 2 weeks after Sarah started. She was on her own in the 1-year-old toddler room. She was responsible for 6 1-year-olds, a lot of hustling, a lot of frantic multitasking. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll see this week that the defining moment in this case is Monday, January 9, 2023, when the lives of 22-year-old Sarah Fuson and then just 1-year-old Olivia Hyde intersected in the toddler room at Tylertown. Ironically, it was Olivia's first day in the toddler room. She was transitioning from the infant room to the 1-year-old room, where Sarah was assigned as the teacher. You will learn, surprisingly, that the only criteria at Tylertown for transitioning from the infant room to the toddler room was achieving the chronological age of 1-year-old, without any practical consideration given as to whether the child was developmentally prepared for that move. In the infant room, the children had unlimited, unstructured nap time. As you might expect, the children were permitted to have pacifiers, and there were rocking chairs in the infant room so that the caregivers could rock the children to soothe them and calm them. For whatever reason, when they transitioned to the toddler room at age 1, the toddler room prohibited pacifiers. There were no rocking chairs for the teachers and the students to use. On Olivia's first day in the toddler room, she was still crawling. She could not sit up on her own. And I think that's going to be a significant circumstance for you all to consider as you hear the proof in the case. When you look at the surveillance video from the morning of January the 9th, you will see Sarah Fuson having to react like a shortstop and grab Olivia to keep her from sliding between the lunch table and her chair so she wouldn't land on the floor. At nap time, in the early afternoon of January 9, Olivia was restless and crying. The surveillance video shows Sarah setting up the cots and putting fitted sheets on each cot. You'll see the cots are small. I think they have one to show you this week during the trial. And they have a plastic-covered aluminum frame. The sleeping area on the cot is fashioned out of a bouncy nylon material. When the cots are open, they are about 5 inches off the floor. For better or worse, the training that Sarah received for nap time was that if a child kept popping up, she was to place them back down on the cot every time they popped up. Consistent with Sarah's training, the video surveillance from nap time shows Sarah placing Olivia back down on the cot each time she popped up. When Sarah was confronted on January 10 with the surveillance video, Sarah acknowledged, hey, what I was doing with Olivia looked a little hard, was the phrase she used. You're going to see the video this week. You all might come to the conclusion that it looked a little rough to you, but that is not the ultimate question that you have to answer in this case. It may look rough, but you have to determine, was her conduct, Sarah Fuson's conduct, intentional? Was it an intentional act designed to injure Olivia Hyde? There's another moment in time that has sparked a big debate between the medical experts in this case. Count 1 of the indictment, as you just heard a few minutes ago from the state, charges aggravated based on the state's belief that the conduct of Sarah Fuson resulted in a skull fracture to Olivia Hyde. Keep those words in mind, skull fracture. Presumably, count 2 of the indictment that was outlined for you is based upon bruising to Olivia's arms, which her mother reported to Sabrina Carter, the daycare director, on the morning of January the 10th. On Friday, January the 13th, Olivia's mother, Macy Hyde, and I think you'll hear from Mrs. Hyde this afternoon, took Olivia to her primary care provider, Vanderbilt Pediatric Associates in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, where Macy Hyde coincidentally works, for blood work and a physical examination. The nurse practitioner that examined Olivia on Friday, January the 13th, noted that there was bruising on Olivia's arms, which was resolving, which was healing. Otherwise, the remainder of Olivia's examination on January 13th in Hopkinsville was unremarkable. She had according to that report, she had a painless range of motion in her extremities and did not appear to be in any distress. All of her laboratory results were completely normal. This incident, the January 9th incident, was reported to the Department of Children's Services on Friday, January the 13th, which performed an initial investigation, then reported the case to the Clarksville Police Department, who in turn referred the case to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. And ladies and gentlemen, by that time on January the 13th, the child abuse train was set in full motion. On January the 19th, at the suggestion of law enforcement, Olivia was taken to the Monroe Carroll Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt in Nashville. On that day, Olivia was evaluated by hospital staff and noted to be active and in no distress. Her pupils were equal, round, and reactive to light. She had normal cardiovascular and pulmonary findings, had normal bowel sounds, no swelling, no tenderness or deformity in her extremities, exhibit a normal range of motion. There were no signs of trauma or what they call point tenderness. Ladies and gentlemen, I think when we get to the end of this trial, you're going to conclude, after you've heard all of the proof, including the expert proof, that no X-ray and no CT scan conclusively determined that Olivia Hyde actually sustained a skull fracture. The radiology department where Olivia underwent this so-called non-contrast head CT scan was interpreted as showing, and this gets to be a little technical and I'd ask you to follow me, quote, a linear lucency of the sagittal suture, close quote. And you're going to hear a lot more about that this week from the experts. Those 5 or 6 ambiguous words about the linear lucency bring us here today. The Vanderbilt radiologist did not say that Olivia had a skull fracture. I think when you hear all the proof, you're going to hear that the radiologist said that it was his impression that the linear lucency was suspicious for fracture. Let me say that again. The radiologist's impression was that this linear lucency was suspicious for fracture. What happens is that fuzzy diagnosis was conveyed to the Vanderbilt University Medical Center hospital staff, or by the Vanderbilt hospital staff, to the Department of Children's Services and TBI, and it became a linear lucency that was suspicious for possible fracture, and they were off to the races. From that point on, every subsequent law enforcement investigation document referred to the CT finding, initially reported as this linear lucency that was suspicious, became a hairline skull fracture, a hairline skull fracture. And that phrase was carried forward in every subsequent law enforcement report. It was sort of like, so let it be written, so let it be done. And that rumor and unsubstantiated suspicion of a fracture ripened into this criminal indictment with potentially devastating consequences. The defense experts that you're going to hear from this week, Dr. Evan Matches and his colleagues, who are eminently qualified, after conducting what they call a virtual autopsy using Vanderbilt's CT scan data of Olivia, shows that the phantom fracture is not a fracture. In fact, it's something known as an accessory suture that is part of an extra bone in Olivia's head, something called a Wormian bone. Ladies and gentlemen, respectfully, you all are not here this week to solve this case. If we get to Friday or whatever it is when this case is over, if you find yourself back in the jury room trying to determine if there was a skull fracture sustained by Olivia Hyde, the state would have failed to do its job in proving beyond a reasonable doubt that there was this injury, and it will be your duty to acquit Sarah Fuson. I appreciate your time and attention going forward this week.
All right, state may call your first witness.
I know you were soft-spoken, so
Might help to just go ahead and pull the base of that microphone towards you, it'll slide. There
Okay,
you
sorry.
go.
thank you, Your Honor. That's what I was getting. Could you please tell us your name and spell both your first and last name for us?
Macy Hyde, Macyhyde.
And are you married?
I am.
And what is your husband's name?
Thomas Hyde.
Is he here in the courtroom today?
He is.
If I ask him to raise his hand, is that him?
Yes.
All right. Always leery of asking dates and years and things, but how long have y'all been married?
Just had our 7th wedding anniversary in August.
All right. And do you have any children at this time? And I'm talking about now, October of 2025.
We do. We have a daughter and then a son and then one currently on the way.
And what is your daughter's name?
Olivia Hyde,
When was she born?
December 7th, 2021.
And how old is the son, your son?
Cameron, he's 2. He just turned 2 in July.
Back in 2022 and into January, February of 2023, where were you, your husband, and Olivia living?
Clarksville, Tennessee.
Okay. Were you employed outside the home?
I was.
And what type of work do you do?
I'm a pediatric nurse.
And where were you employed? And as far as, was it in Clarksville?
No, I worked in Hopkinsville, Kentucky for Vanderbilt.
And your husband, what was he doing at the time?
He's military.
Okay. So was he stationed at Fort Campbell?
Yes, sir.
And when you say you were living in Clarksville, was that Montgomery County, Tennessee?
Yes, sir.
How long had your husband been stationed at Fort Campbell and or living at,
We got there in 2019,
okay,
so
a few years. Okay. And after Olivia was born, did you continue working?
yes, sir.
All right. After spending, I would suspect, some time at home. How old was Olivia when you went back to work?
A little over 3 months.
Did you have any family, relatives in the Clarksville community to do daycare for you?
No, sir.
Okay. So what did you go about doing to seek out daycare?
Most daycares have a long wait list in Clarksville, so we just looked at a couple. The Tylertown was actually in our neighborhood, and they were available, and they were close proximity.
Okay. Referring to Tylertown Learning Center?
Yes,
That
sir.
we've referenced.
Yes, sir.
Prior to enrolling Olivia there, did you go tour the facility?
Yes, sir.
All right. What did it appear like to you?
Oh, it was very nice. Newly built. The people, Miss Sabrina was great. We were recommended from a friend, so
Okay. And when you say Miss Sabrina, would that be Sabrina Carter?
yes, yes,
Okay.
sir.
And was she the manager,
She was the director.
director?
Yes, sir.
All right. So when you enrolled Olivia there, take it by your answer. My other question, she was about 3 months old. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And so would she have been in the infant room at that time?
Yes, sir.
When you say it was in close proximity, was it a matter of blocks, miles, or some idea?
Matter of blocks. We were in the neighborhood right behind it.
Okay. So when you dropped Olivia off, and when I say you or your husband, Did you walk her over or drive her?
Drive.
Okay. And who was primarily the one who would
Myself.
drop her off? Okay. Pardon me. And about what time of day?
In the morning, I had to be at work at 8 usually, so drop her off around 7:30.
And what was pickup time?
Usually 4:30, 5.
And did you also do the pickup?
Yes, sir, most of the time.
Okay. In the months after she turned 3, going on month after month, did she seem to do well at Tylertown?
She did.
Were you able to go by on occasion, like during the day, or arrive
Yes.
early to check on, or not check on, but at least to see?
Yes, sir, and
Or-
I was able to go in and breastfeed if I ever needed to as well.
Okay. So would that have been daily, weekly, a few days a week? Just how-
Probably a couple times a month. It wasn't too often.
Okay. Now, as she progressed, got older, were you aware that something would happen when she became 1, or to go to a different room?
Like the transition?
Yes, the transition.
Yes.
All right. And were you informed about how that would work and what she would be doing, moving from infant to toddler?
Yes, sir. They had done the transition period over a good amount of time. She wasn't 1, she was 13 months.
Okay. And that's why I was asking about the transition. As far as you knew, was this a gradual step, or just one day she's plucked up and put in the other
Gradual.
room? Gradual?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at the age that she transitioned into the toddler room, was she walking,
Yes, sir.
talking, at least
Yes.
some? Okay. And otherwise healthy?
Yes, very.
In fact, did you do the normal pediatric
Yeah,
visits, doctors?
she met all her developmental milestones. She could sit, walk, all that.
And by your place of employment, was that where she went for her
Yes, sir.
appointments?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Before January 9th, that's the day we're talking about primarily, were you aware she'd had any difficulties or any incidents, anything
Before that day?
before that day?
No, sir.
At Tylertown?
No, sir.
Now, on January the 9th, was there anything unusual when did you drop her off? I don't presume, but.
January 9th, I dropped her off.
Okay. When you dropped her off on January the 9th, was there anything unusual about that day?
Just that it was her first day in the new room, but nothing particular.
Anything that concerned you about leaving her as she was going to a new room,
Uh,
other than just the mother?
Mothers, yeah,
So did you go on to work that day?
I did.
And that afternoon, did you go pick her up?
I did.
When you picked her up, did you notice at that time at Tylertown anything unusual about her?
When she came, like when I picked her up and she came to me, she seemed overly emotional, but I wasn't sure if that was just because it was her first day in the new room. She was excited to see me and ready to go.
Okay. And did you take her home? When you arrived at home, was your husband already there, or
No,
did
sir.
he arrive later?
He was later, he was working.
At some point that evening, did you notice anything unusual again about Olivia?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
When I was getting her ready for bed, undressing her for the day, I noticed bruising on the backs and sides of her arms.
And I want to ask about that with respect to how was she dressed that day at Tylertown?
Yeah, she had on a waffle knit shirt. So they have like these little whole, like, the waffle knit material, long sleeve, and the bruising was like an indentation of the waffle.
When you picked her up, was she still clothed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you see the bruising while she had her clothes on, her top on?
No, sir.
I believe you said you were getting her ready for bed, saw that. What was your reaction to that?
Sad.
Can you describe the bruising that you saw?
It was handprint indentions of the waffle knit, and it just wrapped. You could see like the finger lines.
Did you see that before or after your husband arrived home?
Before.
When he arrived home, did you discuss it with him? Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And you recall about what time of the evening that was?
It was late. I had to keep her awake just so I could show him the bruises.
At that time, did you have any idea how that could have happened?
No.
Did you take pictures of the bruising?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would like to show Mr.
All right.
Stryan's. All right, I could ask that this series of some 6 photographs be passed to the witness.
You may.
Ms. Hyde, would you look through those and see if those appear to be enlargements or copies of the photographs you took of your daughter's injuries on January the 9th, 2023?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would move to introduce those as collective Exhibit 1 to this proceeding, and I've arbitrarily labeled them A through F.
All right.
And may at this time we publish those to the jury.
You may.
Ms. Hyde, a moment ago, I referenced to the court about having labeled these A through F. So this would be our trial exhibit 1A. Could you describe, first of all, who's in that photograph?
My daughter?
And could you describe what you see in that photograph and what you told us about a few minutes ago?
Those would be the bruising on the back of the arm.
And would that be your right arm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go to B. Again, is this Olivia
Yes.
and her
That's her left arm.
back of her left arm?
Yes, sir.
C. Don't mean to be presumptuous, but is that your hand holding her arm?
Yes, sir.
D. And you, again, your hand and your daughter.
Sir.
Was she like that when she went to school that morning to Tylertown?
No, sir.
Next, E. And then lastly, F. And I believe you referenced a few minutes ago in discussing what your daughter was wearing, that she had on a waffle type pattern top.
Yes, sir.
And is that her left arm with that
Yes, sir.
indented pattern?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's all we'll have up for this witness. Thank you. Based upon that, what did you do, if anything, that evening, other than put her to bed and
Well, I waited for my husband to show her, and then I didn't first notice the waffle knit. He had asked, well, what did we have her in today? And I showed him the clothes that I took off of her. And then us talking together, we thought, oh, that looks very similar, same print of clothes that she was wearing.
And by knowing that was the clothes she was wearing when she was left at Tylertown, and the clothes that she was wearing when you picked her up at Tylertown, did you deduce that whatever happened, happened there?
Yes, sir.
the next morning, did you take Olivia back to Tylertown? I'm sorry, I'm.
Yes.
Okay. And tell us about that. As far as what did you do? Who did you talk to?
First I took her to Miss Sabrina to show her the pictures that you just showed. And then I asked if it was okay that I'd take her shirt off there and show her. So I showed her the bruises. And Sabrina said that she would look into it. And I had to go to work, so I took her to the room.
Prior to January the 9th, 2023, did you know Sarah Jo Fuson?
No, sir.
To your knowledge, had she been a caretaker, teacher of your child in the infant room?
No.
Did you see the person that you now know as Sarah Jo Fuson there on the morning of January 10th?
Yes, sir.
And is that person here in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Could you indicate who that person is, perhaps by where she's sitting and what she's wearing?
Black shirt.
All right, as the record reflects, she is indicated,
All
Ms.
right, the record
Fuson.
will reflect that she's identified the defendant.
How was Olivia that morning at your house as you were getting her ready to go to Tylertown? Was there anything, pardon me, I didn't mean to interrupt. Was there anything unusual about her behavior that you?
More irritable than normal, fussier than normal. She never cried. So she just seemed a little different.
And when you arrived at Tylertown, did you go inside
Yes, sir.
with Olivia
Yes, sir.
and spoke to Miss Sabrina?
Yes, sir.
Did you see Miss Fuson that morning?
Sir.
Was Olivia in your presence when you saw Miss Fuson?
Yes.
What, if anything, did you notice about Olivia's reaction?
She was scared. She cried when I gave her to her.
When you say to her, did you physically give your daughter, your 1-year-old, 13-month-old daughter, to the defendant, Ms. Fuson?
Yes.
Did you literally hand Olivia to her?
I don't remember specifically if I handed.
Or was
But-
it close contact?
Yes, sir. And she didn't want to go.
You had to go to work. Were you concerned about leaving her that morning?
Yes.
What, if anything, did you do as a follow-up?
A little shortly after, I talked to Miss Sabrina.
And was it your understanding that there were video cameras
Yes, sir.
in every room, at least
Yes, sir.
surveillance in most, if not all, of the rooms?
Yes, sir.
And did you discuss with Miss Sabrina about her reviewing, or that there may have been video to see what could have happened?
Yes, sir. So the first time she looked at the video, we talked twice that day. After we talked the first time, I had asked her to look at nap time.
Now, was this by phone?
Yes, sir.
Because you
Yes,
had
sir.
gone to work,
Yes, sir.
and don't tell us what Ms. Carter said to you, but you had a conversation, and you asked her to review nap time.
Yes, Sarah had specifically mentioned to me when I picked Olivia up the day before that Olivia had given her trouble at nap time.
Did she go into any more detail about that?
Just that she kept having to say, Liv, lay down, and that she gave her trouble.
That who gave who trouble?
Liv gave Sarah trouble.
And based upon that, you asked Ms. Carter to review the nap time video.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen that video?
Yes, sir.
Based upon that, and let me just say, did you see it that day, or has that been since the course of the investigation?
Not that day.
Okay. But based upon the conversation, What, if anything, did you do with respect to Olivia and have her seen by a doctor?
So initially, we just watched her. With head trauma, there's not a lot. But then I wanted the bruising and everything looked at, so I'd taken her to her pediatrician.
Okay. And as a pediatric nurse, have you yourself seen children with
Yes, sir.
trauma,
Yes, sir.
injuries? When did you have her seen by a pediatrician?
Friday the 13th.
And where was that?
Hopkinsville Vanderbilt Pediatrics.
Back to that was her treating physician or her
Yes, sir.
regular doctor? Anything unusual occur there or have any?
No, sir.
Issues?
She just examined the bruises, like he said earlier, made sure that nothing like seemed arm-wise okay with, that was the main thing that we could see physically.
Okay. And what, if anything, happened next with respect to her care or treatment? Being examined
At that location or the next?
at that location? Was there anything other than just the review of her external?
No, I
Right.
think she had her hemoglobin check, which is not
Okay.
a lot of blood work. It's just one finger poke. So that would be the only blood work she had specifically there, and that tells you if she's anemic.
And that's what I was kind of getting at. Was there any really in-depth examination over there?
No, sir, our office is not equipped for in-depth. If that's needed, we have to refer outwards to the Children's Hospital,
And where is the Children's Hospital?
Nashville.
Was Olivia ultimately seen there?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall approximately when?
Yes, the 19th, I had received a call on the 18th saying that she probably needed to be further examined.
And did you take her to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital?
Yes, sir.
Did anything occur there with respect to any additional injuries or anything that happened with respect to her having any additional trauma from January the 9th up until the date she was seen at Monroe Carroll?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm just saying, was she involved in any other incident, have any additional bruising or anything?
No, sir, she actually fell when we were in the hospital with one of the nurses, but no.
Okay, did that cause any injury?
No, sir.
Okay. So I was just trying to say, between the 9th, when you observed the bruising, until Monroe Carroll, Vanderbilt Children's Hospital,
Nothing.
did you take her back to Tylertown Learning Center on January the 11th?
I did.
Oh,
I did.
okay. Was Miss Fuson still there?
No, sir.
And did you have any, once Miss Fuson was gone from Tylertown, did you have any reason not to take Olivia back or have any concerns for her well-being at Tylertown?
No, sir.
You described Olivia's behavior or reaction upon seeing Miss Fuson on January the 10th. In the days following that, was there any other change in her behavior that you noticed while she was at home?
Yes, sir.
What was that?
Very fussy, very irritable, very hard to console. Not our happy baby.
And on those following days, after Miss Fuson was gone from Tylertown, did she exhibit the same behavior upon being left at Tylertown?
When I dropped her off?
Yes, when you dropped her off.
No, sir.
We could have a moment, Troy.
May. You may.
To my question, Troy.
Mr. Lyons?
Good afternoon, Mrs. Hyde.
Afternoon.
January the 9th was Olivia's first day in the toddler room, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you said that she had transitioned in the week before, is that correct?
Previous week, she was 13 months.
Okay. And did they bring her to the toddler room a few times the week preceding January the 9th?
Yes, sir.
And that was the transitioning process, is that right?
No, it was more, a little bit more than that.
Okay. Now, at that time, that she was transitioning into the toddler room, Olivia was still using a pacifier, wasn't she?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you were aware that they did not allow pacifiers in the toddler room?
Correct.
And was that an issue with you in transitioning her into the toddler room?
No, sir.
Okay. They also had the rocking chairs in the infant room, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you were interviewed by the FBI, you mentioned that, or the TBI, excuse me, that you really liked the infant room. And you were aware that she could have stayed in that infant room until age 15 months, is that right?
No, sir.
They never told you that?
She was developmentally okay to go to the next room.
Okay. She wasn't really walking at that time, was she?
She was.
Okay. She wasn't, your recollection is that she wasn't still crawling?
No. She
Okay.
maybe crawled. Baby still crawled.
Okay. She had a little difficulty standing up on her own, didn't she?
She could walk.
Now, you've seen the video of the events of January the 9th, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you saw the video where Olivia is at that, what I call the lunch table. Did you remember seeing that? And Olivia had difficulty in being able to sit up in that chair, is that right?
No, sir.
Okay, you didn't think so.
No, sir.
Back at that time, in January of 2023, did you know one of the caregivers there named Nicole Horton Mariner? You remember
Was she in
Nicole?
the infant room?
Yeah, she was in the infant room. She was also a floater.
Okay.
Would you be surprised that Nicole characterized her as still crawling and could not sit up on her own?
Like I said, babies still crawl. Even at
Okay.
13 months, 14 months, they're still going to crawl, even when they can walk. So I'm not surprised by that. She could sit up on her own since 6 months old, and that's in her medical file.
Now, this happened on January the 9th, is that right?
Correct.
And you told the jury that you brought her back to school on January the 10th.
Yes, sir.
And then you described some incident when you dropped her off on the morning of the 10th, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Where in your characterization, you thought your daughter was mean mugging, I think the phrase you used,
Mean mugged and scared.
Sarah Fuson. And I know you had to get to work, but you're telling the jury that under those circumstances, you left her at the school on the 10th.
Yep, and that's one of my biggest regrets.
And then on Wednesday, the 11th, she was back at school, correct?
Yes.
Thursday, the 12th, she was back at school.
Yes, because Sarah was no longer there.
And then the 13th is when you all went to your work for the medical evaluation, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's in Hopkinsville,
Yes, sir.
Vanderbilt Pediatrics. And my reading of the chart entries was that she was perfectly fine on that day. Is that right?
Physically looking at her, yes.
I mean, when she was examined by your colleagues on Friday, January the 13th, they noted that the bruises were resolving on her arms, meaning that they were healing. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And that she had full range of motion
Yes, sir.
with her arms.
Yes, sir.
There was no trauma to her extremities, correct?
Correct.
And the lab results were all normal. Is that right?
Just the one test, yes.
Okay. So really, Olivia never missed any school as a result of this incident on January the 9th. Is that right?
She did after, but not that week.
But not related to this, correct?
Yes, related to this.
Well, on January the 19th, she went to Vanderbilt in Nashville. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I think you said that there were no other incidents with her after the event of January the 9th. Is that right?
From meaning bruises wise?
Any kind of injury?
Correct.
Okay. Did you accompany your husband Thomas on January the 19th to the CT scan at Vanderbilt Hospital?
I did.
Okay. Were you aware that she had a fall that day at Vanderbilt Hospital?
Yes, I mentioned that when Roger was talking.
Okay. And it was a fall where she hit, I didn't hear you say that she hit her head.
Yes, in front of the nurse, and it was after the
Okay.
CT scan.
I think your daughter is still a student there. Is that right?
No, sir.
Okay, she's no longer going to Tylertown?
No, sir.
Okay. I had seen something on their website, a picture of your daughter. When did she stop going there?
We moved
Okay,
to Texas.
okay.
We moved
And what year was that?
this year.
This year? May I have one moment, Your Honor?
You may. Redirect. Thank you, ma'am. You may have a seat in the courtroom. You may call your next witness.
The state calls Miss Sabrina Carter, please.
I just remind you folks that if anybody needs a recess, let me know if you need a break. So,
Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state and spell your name?
Sabrina Carter, Sabrina Carter.
Thank you, ma'am. Where do you work, ma'am?
Tylertown Learning Center,
And what's your role at Tylertown?
the director.
Is that in Clarksville, Tennessee,
Yes,
Montgomery County?
yes,
How long have you been working there?
3 years.
Were you working there on January 9th, 2023,
Yes,
as the director?
correct, yes.
What are your responsibilities as the director?
Overseeing everything, hiring, staffing, kids, families, all of it.
Okay. Do you know Miss Sarah Fuson?
Yes,
How do you know her?
she was an employee with us,
Do you remember when she started working there?
roughly in July of that same year.
Well, it would have been the year before.
22, you're correct.
Okay, yes, ma'am. So about almost 6 months?
Yes,
Okay. Do you see Miss Fuson here in the courtroom today?
yes.
Could you please tell the jury where she's sitting and what she's wearing?
To the left, a black sweater, floral top.
Your Honor, I ask the record reflect that Ms.
all right,
Carter.
let the record reflect the witnesses identify the defendant.
So I'm going to direct your attention back to January 9th of 2023. Do you recall that date?
Yes,
Okay. Do you recall Miss Olivia Hyde? Was she a student or a child at your center?
yes,
Was she there on that date?
yes.
Okay. What classroom was she in that day?
The 1-year-old room, the little
Okay.
ducklings.
How long had she been in that 1-year-old classroom, if you recall?
She had been transitioning within the month that she had turned 1.
Okay. So how many days had she been with Miss Fuson, if you can recall?
I honestly, I can't. I don't know exactly.
Okay. Explain to the jury a little bit how your transitioning system works as far as,
When they turn 1, we start letting them go over to meet those teachers, to get to know those teachers in that classroom and the way that they do things. It's a little different, obviously. And And so different times throughout the day, we'll send them over whenever they have space, they have the ability, and things like that. Like, we just take a lot of it into consideration.
Okay. And was there anything about Olivia's transition? Tell us about that. Was it normal? Was it unusual? Tell
No,
us
it
about
was completely normal. She was moving up with the kids that she had already been in the same classroom with.
Okay. So she was ready to transition?
Correct.
Okay. Do you recall speaking to Miss Macy Hyde on January 10th?
Yes.
Okay. What was the subject of that conversation?
She came in that morning at drop off and showed me some pictures and just asked me if I could look into it, that, you know, they didn't know what had happened and that they would just hope that we could try to help them with the cameras and things.
What were the pictures of?
Olivia's arms.
Okay. Were Olivia's arms normal, or did you see anything on Olivia's arms?
They were bruised and had marks on them.
When you said you were going to look into it, what did you mean by that?
The camera system that we have.
So you guys have a camera system there.
Correct.
Is it in every room or?
Yes,
Okay.
everywhere.
Okay. Do you maintain and operate that system as the director?
Yes.
Okay. So what did you see when you looked at the camera? Videos, I should say.
I had no idea what time frame to look at. I just started as soon as I could after Macy left that morning. I was in the office by myself, so as soon as time allowed that I could start looking, the first thing I seen was at breakfast and her just being, Miss Fuson being very rough, putting Liv back at the table. And as soon as I seen that, I pulled her out of the room, but I knew that that didn't cause the bruising. So I continued to look.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second. I'm sorry. Just explain a little bit in more detail about what you mean by being rough. What did you observe?
She would put her in the chair and just push the chair up to the table as she was crying.
How did she grab her? If you remember.
I mean, other than just, it's rough for a 1-year-old or honestly for any kid, but she would just pick her back up and put her back in the chair and just shove the chair back up.
But it was rough enough that you felt the need to separate her from the
Oh,
child?
yes. Yes.
What did you do at that point?
At that point, we got another teacher to go into that classroom, and I believe I put Sarah back with our older pre-K because there was other teachers back there.
Okay. And what did you do at that point?
I think at that point I got back in touch with Macy, and then she did tell me that I guess Sarah had told her that one of Liv's worst time of the day that day was during nap time because that was her first full day in there.
Okay.
And so I went to nap time and watched that clip.
What did you see on that clip?
Her repeatedly pushing Liv down on the cot.
I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. Do you know approximately what time the 1-year-olds eat breakfast?
Breakfast is at 8.
So it would have been pretty soon after she arrived. And then what time is nap time?
Roughly in that room, it's a little different, so anywhere from 11:30, 11:45 to 12.
Okay. Now, you said you saw her roughly push her down on the cot. Explain a little bit better what you mean by that.
She was standing over her. Liv's head would have been here, and she was standing over her and just kept repeatedly, like, just slamming her back down onto her cot.
Could you describe the cots that you guys have?
The edges are, part of them are plastic. On those, I'm not sure if all the edges are plastic or if there's any of the aluminum in those, and then the tighter netting type.
Okay. I believe we have a cot here for you to view, if we could have that. While he's doing that, do you recall someone coming to get this cot?
Yes.
Who was that?
I don't remember.
Do you remember who they were with?
I honestly, I'm not sure if it was TBI or if it was the detectives.
It was law enforcement, though?
Yes.
Appreciate everyone's patience. Sorry about that. Get past this to the witness, please. Do you recognize that, Ms. Carter?
Yes.
And what is that?
Those are the cots that we use in our 1-year-old room.
Probably not the exact cot, but is that the same exact type of cot that Miss Olivia Hyde would have been on?
Yes.
Okay. Are those the cots that are in your 1-year-old classroom?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I would like to offer that as State's Exhibit 2.
Record of State's Exhibit 2.
Okay, so back to January the 10th. After you had the conversation with Ms. Hyde about nap time and you saw her forcefully pushing her down onto that cot multiple times, do you recall how many times?
I would say at least 4 or 5.
Okay. What did you do after that?
I called her up and let her go.
Let her go, you mean you terminate her employment?
Correct.
She say anything?
No.
She just said, understood why she was fired? Or?
I honestly, I don't remember if it's when I called her up the first time and changed rooms or if it was the second time. That I do remember showing her one of the clips, telling her that, I mean, that was really rough. And she was just like, and
You talking about the
she
clip
just kinda-
of the high chair or the clip of the cot where she said that was really rough?
I honestly don't
You
remember.
don't remember. Now, after you said it was 4 or 5 times that you remember her being forced down. Do you remember anything of Olivia doing after the final time Ms. Fuson forced her down?
No,
You know, did she move anymore?
not that I noticed.
Okay. Did you watch the video prior to your testimony here today that you had seen on that day on January 10th,
Yes,
just earlier today?
yes,
Was it the same video that you viewed on January 10th,
yes,
2023?
yes.
Has it been edited or altered in any way
No.
whatsoever? Your Honor, I would ask to enter the video from January 10th, 2023 at Tyler Town Learning Center as State's Exhibit 3 and permission to play and publish for the jury.
What? I think based on our prior experience in trials, sometimes we have to reset the system. And my understanding is that's what's going to have to happen out in the evidence or in the electronic. It'll take a few minutes. Anybody need a recess at the moment? All right, let's go ahead and take our afternoon recess, let them get this queued up. So we'll be in recess for about, let's try to make it about 10 or 15 minutes, 15 minutes at the max. We'll be in recess for 15 minutes.
All rise.
Council approach bench, please, before we start playing some strains. You and my initial instructions, when the jury has a question, you submit it to me in writing without your name on it, and I have been handed one that says, what is the age range in the toddler room? So I'm going to allow Mr. Holder to ask that question now, so.
Yes, Ms. Carter, you heard the judge. What is the age range of the toddler room?
12 to 24 months.
And is that the room that Olivia was in on January the 9th?
Yes,
Now, do you recognize the still image that's up on the screen?
yes.
What is that? What is that a still image of?
It's the classroom that she was in that day. It's the 1-year-old room.
Okay. So it looks like the lights are out. What time does the first person usually arrive in there?
In that classroom, at that time, I'm not sure if it was 6:30 or 7.
Okay. I'm going to start playing it. It's just at 0.001 second at this point, but I'm going to start playing it. We'll fast forward to be cognizant of the court's and jury's time here. Hey, do you recognize that person?
Yes.
Who was that?
That looked to be Miss Amy.
Okay, is she just getting the class ready for the day? or-
Yes.
I'm going to fast forward for the record to 53 minutes and 2 seconds. Approximately there, as close as I can get. This is fairly sensitive. So it looks like some children have arrived. Who else do you see on the video at this point?
Other than the kids,
Yes, ma'am.
Sarah.
Okay. Is that her in the bottom right?
Yes.
Okay. Fast forwarding Who is that coming in through the door there? You recognize him?
It looks to be Macy and Olivia.
Okay. What do they usually bring with them? Is that a blanket she has there? Or?
Yeah, if it's a Monday morning, they bring in their blankets they take home on Fridays and
Okay.
anything else that they would need.
So it looks like is there 6 kids in there on this day? Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Slightly. Looks like Miss Hyde just left at approximately 55 minutes. Fast forward next to approximately 1 hour and 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Now, would this be Ms. Fuson getting ready for breakfast time that we discussed earlier in your testimony?
Yes, it seems to be.
Okay. Those chairs they're sitting in, are those just small chairs? Are they high chairs? What kind of chairs are?
No, those are just small chairs for their age group.
Okay. And is that, if you recognize her, is that Olivia that's being picked up there?
Yes.
She's in the chair facing the camera on the right side of the table, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Was this all pretty normal does the teacher or Miss Fuson, whoever it happens to be, typically put the bibs on and get the food ready for all of them like this?
Yeah, they'll start getting them ready and then the washing their hands and stuff. And then in the mornings, it depends if the cook's there, so open up, but they'll bring the breakfast in the classroom.
Okay. I'll fast forward just a touch here. Now, Olivia doesn't appear to be falling out of her chair, does she?
No.
What is Miss Fuson writing down right there, if you know?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Do they write down what they feed them for breakfast, or just, do you know?
In that classroom at the time, I don't remember us doing that, but it could be a daily sheet with that kind of stuff on it.
Okay. Now, what is Olivia doing right now?
It looks like she's turning around in her chair.
Okay.
They've been sitting there for a while.
Did that action by Ms. Fuson there concern you?
Yes.
In what way?
With our little guys, especially when they're new in those rooms and in those situations, you try to help them more than you just expect them to know what to do and how to do it.
That appear to be the way that you want one of your teachers to handle a 1-year-old?
That way?
Yes.
No.
Can you tell if Olivia is crying or not?
This one I can't. When I was watching earlier, the closer that I was, I could tell that she was. And I don't know if it's this time or if it's another time that she does it. I thought there was more than once.
Okay. I'm gonna fast forward slightly, 20 seconds approximately. Again, does Olivia appear to be falling out of her chair?
No, she's not falling out. She's just turning around, it looks
Okay.
like.
What is Miss Fuson doing there?
It looks like she's holding her and talking to her.
And that's acceptable treatment of a child, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, looks like she's putting her back in the chair. Let's forward slightly. I think breakfast is arriving. Is that how it works? Somebody brings the food to the classroom?
Yes.
Okay. Fast forward slightly, approximately 1 minute. At that point, did it appear Olivia slipped out of her chair?
It does. It looked like when she pushed her in a while ago that it pushed Liv forward.
I'm gonna rewind it slightly. Did those actions by Miss Fuson concern you at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's still rough.
Does it appear as though Olivia is crying right now?
Yes, it looks like she is.
Is Olivia eating?
It doesn't look that way to me.
What does it look like she's doing?
Looks like she's just sitting there crying.
Okay. Fast forward slightly. She grabbed her by the arms again there, right? Did she grab her by the arms there as well?
Yes, it looked like it.
How would you prefer one of your teachers adjust a 1-year-old in their chair if that needs to happen? Where should they grab them?
Well, just depending on where they're falling out or if they're just moving around in it, like picking them up and moving them is one thing, but the more of the aggression of doing it and like slamming them up to the table is not okay. In this situation, when she's not even eating and she's crying, I would suggest get her up from the table.
Okay. Does it appear as though she's still crying?
Looks like it.
I'm gonna fast forward slightly to approximately 1 hour 20. Same thing again. She slipped out of the chair and was grabbed by the arms. I'll fast forward approximately 20 minutes. Looks like Ms. Fuson's cleaning up breakfast and wiping the kids down. Is that
Correct.
typically what they do? Olivia's still sitting at the table, I'm sorry.
Yes.
She appears to be staying in her seat okay at this point. For 30 seconds. Now she's cleaning up Olivia now. Did those actions by Ms. Fuson concern you at all?
No,
Okay.
other than it's not procedure for us to clean them that way.
What was
They should have been washing their hands at the sink and cleaning that way.
okay? I'm gonna ask you to watch it again one time to rewind 10 seconds. The way she gets her out of the chair. See, just if anything pops out to you. Not, that's fine.
The fact that, I mean, she went straight to the ground, but I don't know if that would have been on purpose or if she just,
Okay. Okay, so breakfast is over at this point. You said this breakfast would have been at approximately 8 o'clock?
yes, 8 to 8:30.
Okay. And then you said nap time was dependent upon, but generally around what time? I'm sorry.
For them, I'm not sure if it had been around 11, between 11:30 and 12.
Okay. So for the record, Your Honor, I'm going to fast forward to approximately 5 hours, 1 minute, 50 seconds for the video time. Okay, is she getting the kids ready for nap time at this point?
Yes,
Okay. If you don't see her right at this point, do you see where Olivia is at this point? I don't believe she's on camera at this point.
no, I do not see her. I think she's over here in this corner.
Okay. And I believe that cot that Ms. Fuson just put down is going to be Olivia's cot, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So what do y'all put on these cots before they lay them down? Is there a pad under there, or is it just a sheet, or what is
We
it?
just put a sheet on them, and then the parents bring in a blanket that they lay with as well.
Okay, for the week, you said? Okay. And I apologize for the silence, but I think it's important to let this section of the video play out. So we'll go a few minutes here. If there's something that comes up that you want to say to narrate the video, please do. So does that look like Olivia right there?
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
Did that concern you at all?
Yes.
In what way?
Yes.
In what way? I'm going to pause it really quick so you can,
We don't push the kids down on their cots.
okay. What is the proper procedure for if a kid continues to lift its head up?
I mean, you can lay with them or gently put them back down, but we don't push them down.
Okay. Is she back up again right now?
Yes.
About that, does that concern you?
Yes.
Could you tell where she grabbed her by that time?
It looks like she's grabbing her arms.
I don't know if you can tell, but does it look like if Olivia's crying or not?
I can't tell. I could only assume that she was.
Did that last one concern you as well?
Yes,
How about that one?
yes,
Did that one as well?
yes,
She lifting her head again?
correct, yes,
Did that action concern you as well?
yes,
Is that a proper way to handle a 1-year-old?
no,
How about that one?
yeah, not proper at all.
I'm gonna rewind that one.
I just said, yeah, it's not proper at all.
Okay. Now, at this point, when you watch this video back in January of 2023 and you're watching it, and you watched it earlier today and you're watching it now, do you recall if Olivia moved at all for the next 30 plus minutes?
No, she does not seem to.
So she went from crying and lifting her head up, pushing her body up, to entirely motionless for 30 minutes.
Correct.
Does that sound normal?
No,
I'm gonna fast forward in 30-second intervals. She's continuing to get the other kids ready, right?
yes,
Still no movement from Olivia.
no,
Still no movement,
no,
correct?
correct.
So do you know what Miss Fuson is doing here? Is she making notes or what is she?
Yeah, I would say that if those were the daily sheets she was writing on earlier, that that's what she's doing now as well.
She fill out any sort of accident report or anything for this day?
No,
Looks like she's checking on Olivia now. Is that right?
that's what it seems to be.
Does Olivia appear to be moving at all?
Not that I can see.
So for the record, we're approximately 8 minutes after the final time that she forced Olivia's head down. Wanted to stop and show where she checked on Olivia. I'm gonna fast forward approximately 30 more minutes. Did you see some movement at that point from Olivia?
Yes,
So approximately 34 minutes after she finally moved.
yes,
Okay. I'm gonna fast forward again approximately an hour and a half to when Olivia wakes up from her nap. Do you guys typically let them wake up on their own, or do you wake them up, or how does that work?
They'll start waking up on their own, and then as the little ones wake up, we start changing them, and whether or not we turn the lights on to get the rest of them up or whatever, if we see that they're moving, we'll go ahead and get them up.
Okay. She changing Olivia's diaper here? Is that what she's doing?
Yes.
Some of the kids still sleeping, but the lights are back on now. Is that right?
Correct.
And can you tell where Olivia is right now?
It looks like she's still sitting by the changing table.
Okay. Is Olivia standing right there?
Yes.
Okay. Walking a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Is this, I guess they have an afternoon snack as well? Is that what this is?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see anything there that concerned you at all?
To be honest, I didn't look that far the day that I pulled this video.
Okay. Just fast forwarding through, is that Olivia there walking around by the stairs, kind of,
Yes.
or standing? And if you recall, what time do the kids in general, or Olivia, what time did she usually get picked up, if you can recall?
I would say maybe around 5 o'clock.
I believe this video ends before, but there's Olivia in the bottom left playing over there, is that right?
Yes.
I believe this video ends before she gets picked up, but she's still on camera there. I think she's at the table down there.
Yes.
And there's. Okay, so after you saw those incidents that we just watched in the high chair and the nap cot, and you said you fired Ms. Fuson, what did you do after that?
I got in touch with DCS, DHS, and followed all the procedures that we have to do.
And do you recall what day you did that?
It would have been on the 10th. That was the day after.
You did it on the 10th, okay.
Yes.
So do you recall what day they made contact with you after you reported this?
Normally, they're out within 24 hours, so I'd say they were there by the 11th.
Okay. And then you cooperated with the investigation, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any further problems with Olivia after that point?
As far as on our terms, no.
Okay. If I could have one moment, Your Honor. Now, I'm going to backtrack just briefly, but pretty quickly. When we were watching the video and I was asking you if that was appropriate or not, you said no. Do you guys train your employees when they're hired or while they're working there? How does that work?
There are specific trainings that the state requires for every teacher before they go into the classrooms.
Okay. What does that training consist of?
There's like 5 specific ones that they have to have, which is SID, shaken baby, child abuse, before you begin, and it touches on all the basics and all the everyday things.
Okay. Did Ms. Fuson undergo that training?
Yes.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Brian, you may ask.
Good afternoon, Ms. Carter.
Hi.
How long have you been a daycare director in Tennessee?
For approximately 10 years plus,
Okay, and you have to be licensed by the state of Tennessee, is that right?
correct.
I think you told the jury in your direct examination that you felt like Olivia Hyde was ready to transition into the toddler room on January the 9th of 2023, is that right?
Correct.
We just looked at the video here in court today, this afternoon, is that right?
Correct.
Of what was going on in the room on January the 9th, 2023, correct? It looked to me that Olivia Hyde was not ambulatory on January 9th, 2023, meaning having the ability to walk.
Correct.
Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Do you remember being interviewed by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation? I think it was on January the 20th of 2023.
I remember talking to him. I'm
Okay.
not sure when it was.
In advance of your testimony here this afternoon, did you review that TBI report?
No,
Okay. When was the last time you saw that report?
I don't know that I've ever seen that report.
Okay. Do you remember submitting to an audio interview on January the 20th?
It's possible.
Has anybody played that audio interview for you in advance of the trial today?
No.
Okay. Let me ask you a couple of questions. And if you need to look at this to refresh your recollection, I'm happy to have you look at it, okay? Do you remember, you agree with me that she was not ambulatory, not walking around?
She was learning to walk at that time.
Okay. She was still sort of crawling though, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember describing Olivia as a baby to the agents?
Oh, I'm sure I did.
Okay. And you characterized her as being a little sensitive, is that right?
Possibly.
Okay. You were asked some questions this afternoon about Olivia not moving for 30 minutes on the cot. You remember those questions
Yes.
that General Holder just asked you a few minutes ago?
Yes.
When was the first time you were ever asked about Olivia being either unconscious or not moving on the cot?
It was mentioned at some point that the doctor thought maybe something of that nature, but I don't know.
Meaning their expert said that she was unconscious for 30 minutes, is that right?
Could be.
And they suggested that to you in preparing you for your testimony today, is that right?
No.
Well, you certainly never told the TBI on January the 20th of 2023 anything about this child being unconscious for 30 minutes.
I don't know that I knew that at that time.
Okay. Do you need to take a look at your TBI report of interview to satisfy yourself that you didn't tell the TBI anything about it?
I believe that I didn't tell them that if I didn't know that.
Okay. And when did this 30-minute unconsciousness come up?
I honestly, I don't remember. And I mean, watching it today, as I watched it in there earlier, like you could see that she didn't move.
Well, let me be more precise. When was the first time you ever talked to the district attorney's office representing the state in this case and had a conversation about hey, this little girl was unconscious for 30 minutes?
I believe at some point that it was brought up before.
Yeah. Like
but-
today?
I mean, it was today.
Okay. Because they told you their expert is going to come in here and say that this little girl was unconscious for 30 minutes. Is that right?
No, they did not tell me
They
that.
didn't tell you that.
No.
How did they tell you that they determined she was unconscious? Meaning the DAs, the prosecutors?
I don't know that they told me. I'm pretty sure that it was a conversation that I had with Macy early on, that she said the doctors thought maybe that she could have been.
Okay. And forgive me, you told me you've been in this business for how many years?
A total of over 20.
20 years. So, and you're licensed by the state.
Yes.
So you're familiar, at least generally, with the rules and regulations that govern your industry. Is that right?
Yes.
And there is no hard and fast rule that a child who is not developmentally ready needs to transition from an infant room into a toddler room once they reach 12 months or 13 months. Is that correct?
Correct.
By statute, they can stay in the infant room as late as 15 months. Is that right?
Correct.
Since she was, as you characterized her, a baby, and you agree that she was not walking, what was the big rush to move her from the infant room to the toddler room?
There was no rush.
Okay. Whose idea was it to move
It's-
her into the toddler
It's
room?
what we do with all the kids around their birthdays. Around 12 months, we start transitioning them up at 13 months. They don't have to be walking. That's not a stipulation.
Okay. Is there any evaluation done of the children to see if they are developmentally ready to make that transition?
I mean, normally, between the directors and the teachers in the rooms, we know whether or not the kids are ready. It's very, very uncommon for a kid to ever be left in an infant room when they're 13 months.
But you characterized her as a baby to the TBI.
Saying that term, I call all the kids by that. That's just a reference of the infants and toddlers. I didn't mean anything directly to Olivia.
Your Honor, may I have one moment?
You may. Redirect. Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. Are we releasing this witness from the subpoena? All right, you're released. You may go about your business. Thank you. State may call your next witness.
May we approach you?
You may. Take to pick a jury, and how long is it going to take to get through certain witnesses? So I'm told that the state's next witnesses are on call for tomorrow morning rather than later today. So we're going to adjourn for the day. I would remind you of my instructions to not try to look at anything about this case. Don't do any research about it. Don't look up anything having to do with this case. And don't let anyone talk to you about it or talk to anyone about the case. When you leave today, I'm going to ask you to exit through this door, and then they'll let you out the hallway to where you need to go. And in the morning, when you come back through that hallway, and, in the morning, come back into the jury assembly room like you were this morning, and then they'll bring you up. So, and if you could be here at about 8:45 so that we can get started right at 9 o'clock, then hopefully we'll make a lot of progress tomorrow. Thank you. You may retire now. So you can leave your notes and things in the jury room as well. So. Just FYI, we have a Madeline Hinks, Hinkes, in the waiting room. Is she a defense or a?
This afternoon that the only parts of the trial they should be observing is when the state's expert testifies. So
All
they
right,
may
so
not-
tomorrow, what they need to do is to be available in the morning, and we'll allow them to come in without their camera being on, and they can observe and hear what state's witnesses testify to, and then we'll go from there. Rule is that an expert witness can sit in without violating the rule on the testimony of other expert witnesses, and then we can go from there. So, all right. We stand adjourned until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Well, I didn't like watching that video at all. It really hurt my heart. Really did. And I think it was the director that said that because she was the defendant, was going to be by herself in the room, she was going to have to hustle because, she has to hustle more because she's in that room by herself. I didn't see hustle. I didn't see hustle once. I saw someone that got very irritated because she had to get off her chair a few times. That shocked me. That shocked me that you would get so irritated and so angry for a slight irritation. That really bothered me. And if the little one in the complaining witness, I guess you'd call her, I don't understand why they couldn't get her a different chair. If she kept sliding off the chair, why not get her a different one that she doesn't slide off of? It just seemed like such an easy fix. And the other thing I noticed, because I notice weird things, and the other thing I noticed is that the defendant had no interaction with them. I mean, she didn't play, she didn't do somersaults or have them do somersaults, or I didn't see any interaction as play between her and these little ones in her room. And that kind of bothered me. It's like I would think you'd want to fill the day up with, some fun stuff. But anyway, that kind of bothered me. I'll see what I get tomorrow, and thank you guys so much for watching. Part 2 will be on tomorrow evening, and I'll probably split up the morning part 2 and the evening part 3, so I might end up only get one part out a day. So thank you guys for watching, though. I'll see you another time.